The first time I got cheated on, I left.
Really?
Yeah. It was like, bye, deuces.
Wow. There's people actually out here standing on business.
The best revenge is a Christian being healed. Fully heal until you allow God in every part of your house. Even the room that's really messy. Come in and breathe.
Teeyana! And I'm even more nervous because you're here.
Why?
Because when I'm by myself, it's just me and I can chat shit at will.
Oh, she really likes medium ugly men. And in my life, in my heart, I could never.
Medium who? Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Lisa and welcome. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button pretty please. So you guys know I've literally been on about the rebirth of Femmecollective, bringing Femmecollective back to a screen near you, and that is what we are doing here today. Ever since I started Femmecollective, my main aim was to create a community of women who can come together and share their experiences in whatever it may be. And we are back with an episode of Girl Talk: dating, relationship, love, heartbreak. Today we have a very special guest.
Hi guys, I'm Teeyanaaromi, your favourite girl. I'm so excited to be here with Lisa.
So I've got a couple of you guys' dilemmas. Just, you know, having a good old chin whack.
I say chit chat, you say chin whack.
Chin whack. Okay, so.
I say you got a lot.
Pardon?
You got a lot.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Okay, let's start off light. Do looks matter?
Always as like shallow as some people may say it is, it always matters. Me and my girl was having a conversation, like she was like, oh, she really likes medium ugly men, and in my life, in my heart, I could never.
Medium who?
Medium ugly. The problem with me, yeah, I love a trophy.
A trophy?
It's not even just looks. I like a man who walks through the room, yeah, and me and him are together. We look good and everyone looks at us. Who is that?
Who are they? I'm not a fan of quote unquote pretty boy.
A trophy doesn't need to be a pretty boy.
For some people, physical attraction is not, you know, top on their list. But I need to want to be able to rip your clothes off. I want to have that literal animalistic urge to mount you. But also at the same time, looks, they're not everything. A lot of very good looking men.
Empty barrels. JK.
They're not even, no.
JK.
No, there's no JK. There's no JK. They're terrible people. And this is not even a I hate men type of way.
I think there has to be a balance though. Obviously, like, I want to be attracted to you, but if there is nothing that comes with that attraction, then it's not going to work.
Okay, next question. How to properly start the healing process?
Well, for me personally, when I started my healing journey, I really had to be brutally honest with myself. I feel like there can't be any healing without you actually looking in the mirror and saying,
self-reflection. What
is actually going on here? Why am I attracting this person? What are my limiting beliefs currently in life? And how could I overcome those limiting beliefs? What are my triggers? What are the things that continuously put me back in the place that I don't want to be in? I think it's just asking yourself those tough questions and allowing yourself to cry. I read a book by Teeyana I can never say her last name. Something like that. There's a book she has called I'll send you the book so you can put it there. But basically she talks about the healing stage. Your life is like a house.
Okay.
And like you have to go through like the first floor, the second floor,
right,
the basement, and you're unpacking every single bit. That book made me cry because it made me think about so many things I've never thought about before. Really unpacking is where you begin, and then you kind of just walk the walk and allow yourself to feel. God was definitely a massive part of my healing because I don't believe you can fully heal until you allow God in every part of your house, even the room that's really messy. Come in and breathe.
Teeyana!
You gotta think about it. When your friends come to your house, you don't allow them like in your bedroom. It might be messy. But when it's God, you have to allow him in every single part so he can clean everything up for you.
He can see it anyway, child.
Exactly. He can't heal the parts of you that you don't allow yourself to fully be. A lot of us are in denial of how we actually feel. If you feel a type of way, don't be embarrassed, don't be ashamed. I also had a journal when I used to be with my other ex. Yeah, and that was a journey in itself. And I read my journal now, I'm like, wow.
Perspective is everything.
I was so sad back then.
Oh, no.
person. He just wasn't my person. And I went through so much pain with that man. But that was part of my healing. Writing it all out, pouring out my heart on the pages. And eventually you just stop feeling.
It's literally like a switch. For me personally, especially last year, with my breakup, having a platform and people knowing that I was in a relationship, I would say the thing that I was most scared of leaving the relationship was that I was, oh my god, so I was watching a sermon the other day. What's her name? TD Jakes.
Sarah,
yeah. And she was basically, some people don't really like her.
I don't love her.
Oh, okay.
I feel like she's more of like a motivational speaker.
Sometimes
like, she'll say something, I'm like, girl, I need you to back it with scripture.
I'm very just about to say that. Yeah. So she was basically explaining that sometimes people are scared to leave their positions that they're in. You're scared to leave that job, you're scared to leave that relationship, you're scared to leave that friendship, you're scared to leave that house because you feel like the blessing only comes with that, because they feel like they're no longer going to have the presence of God. I was so scared that leaving my relationship, I was no longer going to be, I don't want to say the word important. I just honestly felt like, what am I going to do?
You tied everything to him.
To him, basically. And big up to my friends who were there when I was dealing with that breakup. Because it was
and shout out to the friends who are patient with us as well, man.
Honestly, just the type of person I am. Sometimes pride and ego play a lot in stuff you go through. So sometimes it's like, I can't even believe this is happening to me. I was very much in that space where I was like, no, this can't be happening. I literally just got to the point where it's just like, enough is enough. This is really here. This is really happening. You kind of have to just sit up one day and just take it for what it is. You just have to feel there's no escaping it. There's no cutting corners. I tell my friend about it now. And we laugh all the time. And I was literally crying like a widow.
Fam, I felt like I was gonna die.
Like, I was literally crying like my husband of 25 years had died. Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You can't sugarcoat it. Can't, try and make it look prettier than it is. And it's gonna be so painful, but again, there's lessons to be learned from everything. And I feel like a big part of starting the healing process, self-reflection, maybe not at the very beginning, but you'll get there eventually. I'm so tired of advice on TikTok. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
I'm not
gonna lie to you guys. And I feel like sometimes when it comes to relationships or dealing with breakups and just heartbreak in general and healing, a lot of it is just covered with like, oh, well, he didn't deserve you anyway. You're a bad bitch, you're this, you're this. You can be all of those things. You have to do the inner work. You have to.
A lot of people are avoiding the inner work though.
And covering it up with, oh, well, I'm just gonna boss up. The best revenge is looking good, doing about.
Sorry.
What did you just say?
I said the best revenge is a Christian BBL.
Next question. Because you can do that for as long as you like, but you're going to get to a point where you will just continue to repeat the same cycles over and over and over and over again. True healing starts from self-reflection. You said you were doing journals while you were in a relationship or after? But in my relationship, I was doing like letters to God. When I read them back, a lot of it was just like, please God, like if this relationship is for me, like can we work, can we contour, can we blend? My good friend Jamila actually, she suggested to me doing video journals because I felt like I got to the point where I was a burden on my friends. Not that they ever made me feel that way. It can be so draining. Even when you're repeating these things out loud to yourself. I felt like in those videos, I just laid it all out. There's certain things that we don't want to tell our friends. There's just things that you want to have shame about. Like, I watched back one of the videos the other day and I was like, wow. Where I was then, a widower, I was crying like somebody had died. Where I was then to where I am now is a completely different place. This is not so much a dilemma, but more of a question. Can you ever forgive cheating?
No.
Wow, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen.
No. The first time I got cheated on, I left.
Really?
Yeah. It was like, bye, deuces.
Wow. There's people actually out here standing on business.
I don't know how it would be if I was in a marriage. I would like to think I would leave. In this boyfriend and girlfriend stage of life, no. Just not what I would accept at all. What about you?
Now where I am, I wouldn't forgive cheating. In my last relationship, I forgave cheating. My self-esteem was on the floor. I genuinely thought that we could, bounce back from that. If I was a man we were together in a relationship and Lisa forgave him, as the man, I would be weary. Be scared. This is not gonna end well. So I forgave the cheating, but I hadn't really forgiven the cheating. I said, okay, cool, let's move on. I'm gonna look past it. But deep down,
look past it.
It wasn't even something that was a constant argument. It wasn't something that was brought up all the time. But deep down, I was questioning myself as a woman. You don't make me feel safe. Is it me even questioning myself, or maybe because I don't look good enough? Like, I literally got to that point. Looking back on it, even if I was to forgive you, this is not an advert, by the way. For anybody. For anybody to think that that's just gonna slide. I was in turmoil, and it wasn't even a thing of, oh, you go out and I don't trust you. Because I'm the type of person,
I'll get my look back.
And that's what I do.
I don't want to be put in a position where you've now cheated. I'm like, okay, let's look past it. Now we've had an argument, you're at home, I'm out, David's looking, giving me the attention. I'm like, you know what? He cheated. I'm gonna go lips David. I don't ever want to be in that situation, because now the spirit of vindictiveness has now taken over me, because I'm pissed off you. I'm now coming out of character because of your wickedness.
Right. That's one lesson that I took from my last relationship. That you cannot allow people to turn you into somebody you're not. And when I say somebody you're not, it doesn't mean that you're not capable of those things. Everybody is capable.
Everyone.
My natural instinct is not to be vindictive. It's to love and to be loved. For me to get to the point where I feel like, well, you did this, so I'm going to do this, I am coming out of character. That is one of my regrets in my last relationship. I feel like I should have just... deuces. Bye. And they might love you, but love and respect are two different things. I was talking, who was I talking to the other day? I'm not that I was trying to make excuses, but I was like, I mean, the relationship was kind of good before that. And then the person was like, no, Lisa, I can't have been good. There must have been other signs. Whether you were on the receiving end of those signs or not, you would have seen that. So it comes up in other things, how they treat their friends, how they are in business. That's all a reflection of their character. And don't ever think for 1 second that how they treat others is not how they will eventually treat you.
This is what I learned this year.
Baby, they gonna do you like that eventually. Might not be tomorrow, might not be the week after, but it's coming.
Sometimes, like, get personality and character very confused. Someone could be humorous, charismatic, but their character, you really need to wait and see people's characters. You see their foundation.
What I was upset about the most, you're supposed to be my best friend, but it's my best friend hurting me. It's just in life in general. If I was to have these type of feelings, you would be the person that I would come to for comfort, person that I would come to for support, for a safe place. It can be such a confusing time. Do I stay? Do I leave? You're hurt, you want to throw things, you want to scream, but also at the same time you just want to cry. You just want to hug. Honestly, once you get all your ducks in a row, once you get your shit together, deuces, honey, get your bags and be going. Because it's never worth it in the end. Like I said again, love and respect are two different things. Obviously you want your partner to love you, but I also feel like sometimes the respect needs to be more than the love. Because when you respect people, there's just certain things that you won't do.
I think it's important to have conversations on what cheating is as well at the beginning. So you both understand what that boundary is. It might feel like common sense, but as long as we have communicated, we haven't blurred the lines, we haven't assumed.
This is where you can
this
go.
Is where you can go.
So this dilemma, she says that her and said person broke up because he said he couldn't see them in a long-term relationship, but still wants to talk and be friendly.
You see me, I'm a strict babe. I'm actually a strict babe. You already know I'm a strict babe. Like, I actually have no tolerance. A man has told you point blank, and I think a lot of women do this. Like, a man will tell you in 5 different languages, I don't want you. And you'll be like, well, maybe we can still work. He's not making the time to talk to you. He's not doing nothing. And you're there saying, maybe. He's told you he doesn't see you long term. He's done you a favour. Thank you for, because a lot of guys are not that honest. They will string you along for 5 years, take your time, and like, that's where you need to set your boundary. He wants to still have that access to you, which is not going to
hovering,
monitoring spirit.
There's a lot of men who want to have no real impact on your life,
no purpose,
have no real intention for you. They don't want to go with you anywhere apart from the corner shop to get some snacks in between your late night rendezvous. They just want to be able to have that access to you. Fortunately for you, he's made it abundantly clear by saying he doesn't see anything long term with you. You just have to take the L's and take the positives where you can. If you're dating, you want to meet somebody, you want to get married, if you want to have a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, you have to be very intentional about your intentions, as silly as that sounds.
I feel like this is a really a buzzword right now, intentional.
Intentional.
What does that actually look like?
I saw your tweet the other day. Was it yesterday? You tweeted something like you don't want any, what was the word you used? Something experiences.
I don't subscribe to like mediocre experiences.
Right.
I don't allow myself to engage in low vibrational experiences.
But that's what I feel like is moving with intention. Everything has to have a purpose. Let's say a guy would DM you, message you, he'd be asking you, oh, how's your day? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying off the bat, like, what the fuck do you want with me? No. But if he's like, oh, okay, cool, can I get your number? For what? What do you want my number for? What do you want to be messaging me at 7 a.m. in the morning for? Having my number is a totally different level of close to me. So what do you want my number for? To do what? To do what with it? Okay, like, I really want to get to know you, see if we can get to know each other. For what? No, you have to answer these questions. And a lot of the time, you will see not only just men, but people will expose themselves because they'll start to start on their words because they don't know what they want your number for. They just want to have it. They don't know what they want to speak to you on the phone for. They just want to speak to you. And that is what I mean by moving with intention. You have to, again, cut out those low vibrational experiences. And I know it seems like you're putting pressure on other people. And sometimes, a lot of times, especially when you start talking to people, a lot of people around you will tell you, just keep it calm. Don't like put too much pressure on it. Which I definitely subscribe to, but also at the same time, you have to make sure that you guys are on the same page.
I haven't even got a date this Sunday, I just remembered.
Oh, damn.
I'm not going.
Maybe you found out here first, she's not coming, by the way.
This inconsistency is just too unattractive.
No. Throwing tomatoes.
Like,
go home, Roger.
That whole going on dates with people, unless I'm proper interested in you.
And that is why I feel like the men and women of today hate each other. Because a lot of people are subscribing to low vibrational experiences. Before I've gone on the date, I've had to at least spoken to you on the phone at least several times. Built up a rapport. Like, do I like you? Do I not? Do I fancy you? Do I want to be around you before I just go and sit in anybody's face to eat dinner? No. If I wanted to go and eat dinner, I'd call up my mates. Like, listen, I don't know the type of woman that you think I am. Maybe you dealt with those type of women before, but I'm not her. But also, on the other hand, I'm not here to prove to you what a good woman I am.
I'm not auditioning.
I'm not here to prove to you how I'm so different from the rest. If you feel like I'm everybody else, then both your uncle, jog on. If I get to the point where I feel like I'm auditioning for a part in a play that I'm never gonna get, nothing I do is ever gonna be good enough for you. I'm always gonna be constantly seeking your approval. I'm not going to sit here brick by brick, break down the walls that you have. And this is for men and women. Unfortunately, that's your job. The same way women also stop going into relationships expecting the man to resolve and deal with all your trauma. No, baby, there's therapists for that. You have to do 90% of that work by yourself. And this is just me like looking back and acknowledging where I went wrong. I brought a lot of my issues and trauma to that relationship, thinking that the relationship would resolve all, and that's a lot to carry. Your trauma is your responsibility. Men and women alike. Deal with your trauma, please. That even had nothing to do with the question. Just deal with your trauma. The advice is tell a man to leave you alone.
I think women underestimate how much power we hold. Like, if you don't want someone in your life anymore, just be like, I appreciate the time that we had together, but this will not work. Thank you so much.
Bye. And don't be afraid to tell men no. Like, no, we can't be friends. What do you want to be friends for? For what? We need to give a fuck about our feelings. Even if other people won't, you give a fuck about your feelings. And don't always think about how you're feeling now. How am I going to feel about this in 2 months' time?
And If your boundaries feel uncomfortable, that's a good thing.
Next question. When do you know to allow a man to spin the block to see if things could be better or move on?
You're not gonna say no.
It's not necessarily a yes or no answer though. When do you know I'm gonna allow this man to spin the block to see if things can potentially get better or know it's time to move on?
It depends how it ended. I think if it was a thing where it wasn't the right time or you needed to focus on something else and he wasn't a bad person to you, then yeah. If it's a situation where he literally broke your heart, cheated on you, whatever, then you're not coming back here. No. It always just depends the situation. I think you should outweigh the pros and the cons and your experience with them and how they made you feel. If I was to think about someone to spin the block right now on me, the way that man made me feel was absolute hell. So no. If I was to think about another person, the way that man made me feel wasn't the best, but again, it wasn't his fault because we wasn't actually a thing. We were both in two different spaces. So could we see if this could be a thing if we now commit to each other, communicate our intentions with each other? Maybe, yeah. What do you think? Stormzy didn't. You're not all Stormzy.
You know how you said it depends on how it ended, that sometimes the guy, woman, whoever could have been a good person, blah, 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 blah. A good person does not mean a good relationship. You could be good people in general, like, oh wow, such amazing, great people. But you're just not meant for each other. For that reason, sometimes I feel like it shouldn't always depend on how they treated you. They could have treated you like royalty. And the best thing since sliced bread doesn't mean that they're the person for you.
But did you feel like they weren't the person, or did you give them that chance? Because that's a different thing.
Well, I mean, she didn't write that in her essay.
So we are hypothetical.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, but if you then realise, oh, you weren't the person for me, then of course not. There's no reason to spin the block. You were a great person. There's no... But I'm talking about the ones that you haven't really given a full opportunity with. That could have been a maybe, or... you know, that ground of commitment wasn't really established because you both were tiptoeing. That's when you can allow someone to spin the block, because we always hear those love stories of, oh, like we were kind of together, but I was doing my thing, she was doing my thing.
Yeah.
We had a year apart, then we came back together
and everything was great.
I mean, guys, I pray about every man, you know.
Yeah.
I just don't like my time being wasted, and I think that's just out of fear. So if you got
my train coming on time.
If someone has come back into your life, just ask God. Like, you can always talk to God about it. God will reveal quickly.
Yeah.
This is it. This ain't it. Also, listen to your intuition. If you are feeling in your heart, oh, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
If you don't feel anything, give it a chance and then allow yourself to still sit in the presence of your decision and listen to yourself. I don't think we trust ourselves enough to know this isn't gonna work.
I feel like that is something I've been trying to deal with and currently dealing with now. I will overthink for Jesus. Like, I overthink all the time.
Till Jesus comes back.
Like, I can overthink till thy kingdom come. A lot of the time, I'm having internal battles, whether this is just a product of my overthinking or this is genuinely something I should be paying attention to. Is it just in your head or is it in your body as well? I feel like when it's intuition, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, when intuition doesn't exist. Yeah. When it's intuition and when it's God trying to tell you, like, no, baby, this ain't it. I feel it in my stomach.
I feel it in my spine.
In my guts.
When my first boyfriend, God told me with every fibre in my body that this man isn't yours. I was like, maybe we'll just see. Maybe we'll just see turn into 6 years.
Oh, Lord.
I met him when I was 18 and I was very young. I did have a relationship with God. It's just I wasn't listening. When it's a massive no, God will shout at you. If for any reason there is silence, to involve God with that process. Because I think that was, for me, my last relationship. I always asked God, oh God, is this for me? And there was nothing. There was nothing. And then there was a point where God was like, now it's time to leave. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, okay. Well, you didn't say anything to me. Now you're saying something.
Well, just right now, your relationship with God is not that strong, because that happens and that's okay, girl. God is ready and waiting for you whenever you're ready to go back. Even if that's the case, again, for me, it's head and body. Your body will speak to you. Even when you're stressed, your body feels it. When I was in my last relationship, I was stressed. I started to have grey hairs. But this is not a joke. I started to have grey hair.
The wrong man will make you sick.
Like, long strands of grey hair. So your body will even tell you when this is not for you. Like Teeyana said, you have to get to the point where you are trusting yourself and you're trusting your feelings. And especially as an overthinker, shout out to all my overthinkers out there. The same way you're having an allergic reaction to a food that's not for you, the same way you're going to have an allergic reaction to that man, child. Is it better to be single and romance-less than to be in a friends with benefits situation?
You guys have come here today with rubbish. What the heck am I meant to say to that? I don't want to be that cliche person, but I think we need to value our singleness so much more. You don't want to just be a body to just someone for the sake of being. And in your singleness, if for any reason your full focus is companionship, then I think you kind of need to go back, and in the kindest way ever, go back to the drawing board and actually be the person you need to be whilst you're waiting for that person. I always have these lists about what we want in people, but we never have a list of who we want to be when the person arrives. I have a list. I think my list is very reasonable. It's more about character than anything. And I was like, wow, I don't actually have the list of who I want to be whilst I'm waiting for my person. The world we're in right now, everybody wants things fast, and I'm in a space in my life where I'm really trying to do delayed gratification for longevity. In your singleness, use that as a time to get closer to God, to be the woman you need to be for, or the man, whoever's watching that, be the man you need to be for when that person comes, because the worst thing you want to do is to create more trauma, to create more heartache. Or for what reason? Friends with benefits, like what value is that going to add to you? But if you do feel like it brings something, then child, do you. Singleness might feel boring, but that's a good thing. Why do you want chaos?
For me, I'm not opposed to friends with benefits. Sometimes for people, friends with benefits is not a low vibrational experience. I would say a good 7 to 8 times out of 10. Probably a low vibrational experience, right?
Rosters and friends with benefits, in my opinion, are low vibrational.
If you are looking for something serious and you do want that romance and you do want that love in your life, dealing with certain people and being in certain situations, they might pull you away from where you're really supposed to be. Rather just making an active choice, like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm not gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do today. This is what I'm not going to do today. A lot of people just accidentally slip into things. And then, whoop, before you know it, you're 8 months into a friends with benefits. You're like, how did I even get here? I'm lost in the flow of things. Don't let the flow you. Next dilemma, 23-year-old virgin. And I've always wanted to wait till marriage, but I don't know anymore.
I'm always going to come from a godly point because I'm waiting till marriage. What I lean on is God. It's not myself, because if I could shag right now, I would. I'll be a very... Just based off of my relationship with God and the bigger picture and what has been revealed to me when it comes to my purpose, I know that in my personal convictions, God has said, keep this for me, because where I'm taking you is further than where you can take yourself. That's what motivates me to close my legs. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I have had sex before. I absolutely get horny. I love sex. Okay. God is bigger than those desires. I don't know what your compass is and what is leading you. And whatever it is, place a why you're actually doing it. And I know with the generation that we're in right now, sex is everywhere. Even sometimes I used to question, I'll be like, wow, other Christians have sex. Why don't they feel convicted?
God hasn't told me this one yet, child.
And that used to be my excuse on, I'm just gonna have sex. Disobedience is tied to my destiny. This is the only thing God has asked me to do. This one bit, I need you to honor me. Out of everything God has done in my life, that's the least I can do. Obviously, like I have broken it before and that didn't go well. Again, I don't really know why you're a virgin. I know some people are virgins because they're literally scared.
She said they've always wanted to wait till marriage.
God has asked you to preserve something. He knows your future. He knows why he's telling you to do a certain thing. I know it's hard. And also get around a community of women who are also abstaining. And even if they're not abstaining, they understand and they don't judge you, or they don't encourage you to fall. Because I can say that, not to blame one of my friends, but my friend did kind of like,
felt like she encouraged you.
Whereas I have other friends who are active. They didn't encourage me or influence me the way she did. It is definitely the people you're around as well. If you're around,
community is everything. So
everything. Good luck on your journey. do you. It's okay to be different.
What is a practical way to get into dating?
Putting yourself out there, I would say, I used to always go to parties by myself. Like
Really? In terms of trying to date people?
Just meet people.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think you should ever go out and be like, I'm going to date people.
Yeah.
I think your intention should be, I'm going to meet people.
Yeah.
I think there's always less pressure. And I think parties are the best way to meet people. If that doesn't happen, just be outside.
I mean,
be seen.
You might find your man in Tesco. You might. It happens, but it's not necessarily being outside. Like, maybe your group of friends, or you're not the type of person to always be in the club, etc., etc. But maybe, you know, your friends invited you to a games night.
Games night are a good time.
And you didn't go.
Your friends party. Your friends gathering. Workspaces.
Just put yourself out there. Unfortunately, there's no other way to do it.
I also just love the idea of meeting people in real life and actually catching a vibe. I think if you get into a practice of just being outside without the pressure of you're looking for someone, then you'll start feeling comfortable. Also positioning yourself.
I like to call it, it's my favourite term, is called product placement. You know when they dress up the mannequins in front of the shops in Zara, so you see that coat and you're like, I want that coat, and you walk inside. Product placement, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a fan of overtly moving to people. My personal favourite, and if it's your only takeaway from this video, my personal favourite is talking to all his friends and not speaking to him.
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
He's just there like, I'm like, oh, like, sometimes I talk to them there. I'm like, oh, sorry, what's your name?
Like, I don't know you.
I ain't never met you before.
So that is all the questions and dilemmas. The first episode of our girl chat, the first of many Femmecollective things that will be coming to screens
near you
and venues near you. I want to thank my amazing friend Teeyana for sitting and chatting with us. Don't forget to follow Teeyana on all her socials. I will link all her socials down below. Really hope you guys enjoyed this little chin wag and chit chat. I feel like it's so important for women especially to share their experiences in whatever it is. There's a lesson to be learned in everything. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for all your continued support. All the people that have been in my TikTok DMs, TikTok comments, YouTube comments. Lisa, when's Femmecollective coming back? It's back and it's here, and I love you guys so much. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave me down in the comments, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.